Set. All right, you're live.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday.
Hi.
Hey, I'm going to introduce my friend Veronica, who is joining us today to talk about birth photography. And we have some wonderful birth photographers that join us here at the Birth Center, and Veronica is one of them. And she just happened to stop by the other day and bring us like a photo book and some cards. And we're always looking for guest speakers on our Facebook. So I was like, will you do this, Veronica?
She got me.
So I got her. Okay, birth photography.
Yeah.
Some people super down, they think it's awesome, and they instigate the question. Some people say, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Is it weird? I don't want pictures of like my private parts.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just dispel some of the myths around that. And also, like, I could tell you it is not disruptive to have a birth photographer. Most of all the photographers we've ever had, they're so fly on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even know that they're there.
Yeah.
Really, truly. And I don't know how you guys even get some of the shots that you get, because I think, we're right in there with the partner, and it's very intimate and it's dark, and somehow you guys get that shot of like the baby being born. How does that happen?
I mean, I think being a fly on the wall is kind of like my favorite thing to do. It always has been. I'm just an observer by nature. And so just being very aware of everything that's happening. I think having gone through birth myself now has really opened my eyes, because if you had talked to me about birth photography before I had kids, I probably would have been super intimidated.
Did you have a photographer she had both of her babies with us?
Yes.
The first time?
I had my mom both times.
Oh, your mom, right.
And my mom is experienced with photography, so I trusted her to know what she was doing, which was great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just always loved being a fly on the wall. I've always loved watching things happen. And now that I've experienced it myself, it's just kind of, I can anticipate what's coming roughly. I mean, of course, births are all different, but you can get an idea of what's happening. And so I just kind of know where to be and how to stay out of the way. Yeah. And I think that's one of the nice things about being here at the Birth Center is it's just peaceful. Everybody is calm. It's dark, and I can just do my thing without interrupting anybody.
So the lighting component, I always ask a photographer when they're in, I always say, like, do you need more lights? And we don't want to put the big giant fluorescents on.
Right.
But a lot of people maybe think like it's disruptive and the lights have to be on, but they don't.
Right. And that's
clearly I'm not a photographer. So I'm like amazed at the fact that these pictures can come out because,
Yeah, it's definitely thanks to
and no flashing, like there's no crazy like paparazzi action happening.
It's really thanks to great photography equipment and then knowing how to use it. There are birth photographers who use flash, and I prefer not to, because it just is disruptive by nature. And I know that I can still get beautiful photos in such low lighting.
Do you have to do a lot of is it called post-production? Like after, do you have to do light correction?
I do minimal editing. So I keep it as minimal as possible, but I'll do a little bit of correction just to make them kind of pop.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll turn them black and white, or
little
things like that.
Yeah, if you have to make them pop.
Yeah. But I think that the darkness and the moodiness in those photos is really like true to what is happening, and so I want to keep it that way. I don't want to put a bright flash on you while you're in the middle of labor and make it look like something that's not really happening.
And I don't know if you have an answer to this, but like we have some photographers that are sort of like documentarians, and they do this documentary style.
Yeah.
Do you have a style that you can put words to?
I would say it's pretty documentary. I mean, for the most part, that just makes me think of like hands off, showing what's happening without intruding. So
telling the story of the birth.
Exactly.
Do you think most birth photographers would consider themselves documentarians?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, because you're kind of just on the outside of a very highly emotional event, and so you're just, doing your best to capture what's happening.
How is that different from a wedding photographer? Or is it?
In some ways it is, and in some ways it's not. So I would say a wedding has a huge amount of posed and led photography, where you're leading people, you're showing them what to do. Now, not during the ceremony, of course, that's documentary. You're just documenting what's happening during the ceremony, but weddings have a lot more components to them.
So it's a much more of a production.
Exactly, yeah.
And so there's more staged photography, and then there's a bit of documentarian style during the ceremony.
Yep.
And then the party, the reception, a combination, huh?
Yes, definitely.
So like with a baby, it's all documentary style. And then we do the newborn exam. So maybe some of that is like, we'll say, oh, this is a great picture.
Yes,
right?
Totally.
So then there's a little bit more.
Yeah, once the baby's born, we can, angle the baby in a way that will make an extra good photo. But we're not like...
We don't do a lot of manipulating of the baby still.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back for a second on that your mom was your photographer.
Yeah.
Those of you that have a family member that you would feel comfortable at your birth, giving them the task if they're good photographers is kind of fantastic. How did your mom feel? That's so interesting. I don't know that I talked to her about how it felt for her to be, for the first time, being the mother and very emotionally connected, came to all the prenatals, very, very involved. But being the photographer, which is sort of like, you have this camera, so you're kind of having this third party experience, right? Right. But it gives the person that's emotionally involved a task, which is very useful.
It is. Huh. She loved it. I mean,
she did. She felt still emotionally connected.
Yeah, totally. She wanted to. In fact, I suggested getting another photographer so that she could be there without thinking about it. But she was very happy to take the pictures. So.
Right. And then it gave her a task so that we like that, because if any family members, not that your mom was nervous about this community setting birth,
but if someone was.
If somebody was, it gives them a task that they can focus on, which is really helpful. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But then if the pictures don't come out well, then you're going to blame your mother.
Right. And that's why you can trust a photographer who has been doing it for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
What about timing? Like, how does that work? So not all photographers can do births. Do you agree with that?
Yes, yeah.
It's a skill set. And when did you start doing birth photography, after your babies or before? I don't remember.
After. It was after.
It was after.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
It's been almost 3 years since my first one.
Since you've been doing it. Yeah. And what do you like the most about it?
Oh, it is honestly my favorite. So I primarily did weddings before this, and I love weddings, and I still do them on occasion, but they're just a lot. On my end, the day of is a lot, and then the post is a lot. It's just a tedious thing when you're editing, family members lined up, and you have to make sure every single person is not blinking in every picture. I mean, I love it, but it's a lot. And so when I began doing birth photography, I just completely fell in love with it, because I'm here, it's quiet and peaceful, I'm doing my thing. It's just, and it's such a highly emotional event that you're getting to capture, that like every photo you take is like a big deal. And I love that about it.
Yeah, that's true. What about the component of being on call? Because birth photographers have to be on call. And that's hard.
It is. It can be challenging, but I'm thankful to have my parents down the street and my husband who works from home. So between the two of them, the kids can be watched at a moment's notice, which is so great. And
critical.
And then I live just a few minutes from the birth center. So that's been such a blessing, because I can assure people that I'm never going to be super far away when I am on call. So it's worked out really well.
Awesome. Kelly, you talked about having, if you were to have more babies, which she assures us
definitely not happening.
Yes, too. You did not have a photographer at your birth? And what did you say there? You would?
I would totally do it.
Yeah, you would totally do it.
So when I had Aria, my oldest, it was in a hospital setting in Colorado.
And the hospital setting, it's beautiful. Hospital setting, there's some more restrictions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And that wasn't the thing that made me not have it. I didn't even think it was an option. So my doula took pictures. And my doula is not a photographer. And the pictures were traumatic.
Too.
It was too much. Like it wasn't what you see Veronica doing. So I was telling Veronica, when I wish I would have known about her photos before I had Gia. Especially, Gia was a really special birth to me. She was my rainbow baby, and it was a very healing experience and very spiritual to me, although there were a lot of profanities. But after I started working with Renee, I got to see so many of your gorgeous photos, and I was like, I wish I would have done that, because the way you capture the story is just like clean and beautiful and raw,
soft,
and it's soft.
But it's just such a really beautiful.
It really just
approach.
makes that experience so much heightened,
and
I guess.
Not, I mean, you have the aesthetic ability to. They're not graphic, unless I guess somebody.
But even the ones that are more graphic are still artsy, I guess.
Yeah.
Or like beautiful, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I love to be able to take at least some photos of baby coming out.
That baby coming out, because it's so amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, and it is beautiful, and we can do it in a way that is like a wonderful memory for you.
Maybe that's where some of the post comes in, like if it's maybe you turn that into a black and white, or you do something so it's not so like, although some of those, there's one with our friend who's sitting out there right now, there was like the color of her, she had a bathing suit top on, but then there was a little bit of blood. I feel like that was her, and it was so beautiful.
Those photos were some of my favorite photos.
Thank you. Yeah, it can be definitely beautiful.
So it doesn't have to be all like crotch shots. I mean, you're not like, doing all.
Yeah, and that's the thing I say, like, you don't have to show these to anybody. These are just for you to enjoy the memory of. And there will be plenty of other photos where you're covered and you see baby, and you're not going to have to worry about, seeing blood or being exposed or anything like that. So you'll get both for sure. Yeah.
I do pictures at a birth.
You actually do pretty good pictures on your phone.
I actually finally updated my iPhone from an iPhone 5. Which now I hold that little iPhone, it's like this big, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I used that for so long, to an iPhone 10, which isn't even, like your phone, Kelly, like you have that Galaxy, I think?
Yeah, I have the Galaxy 10S, which is an insane camera for a phone. The camera
on those Galaxies are amazing.
Yeah.
But our little phones are pretty good.
Yeah.
And I love taking pictures at a birth. I really do. I love it. I think in my next career, besides
being a yoga instructor,
which we'll plug next week, I might just start taking photos. Although I don't want, it's the on-call thing that's tricky.
Yeah.
So okay, let's talk about can we talk about a giveaway? So Veronica came the other day, and that's obviously that's how we got here today, which I said earlier. Wanting to do a giveaway, and I was like, I don't really know how to do that, but what we came up with is.
So basically, we're going to give away half off of birth photography coverage. So I will shoot.
Amazing.
I'll shoot your birth for half of the typical cost, and you just enter on Instagram. And I think we're going to post later today.
It's an Instagram giveaway, or does it have anything to do with Facebook?
Well, Facebook has to go to Instagram.
Facebook has to go to Instagram.
We already posted Veronica's handle on Facebook, but Veronica will explain. But they'll have to go to 2 places.
Okay. Yeah. So on Instagram, you can follow both of us, the SCV Birth Center and myself.
Veronica Coleman.
It's actually Viroscula, which is an old nickname of mine, but it'll be listed so you can just click. So follow us and tag your friends in the comments, and every tag, pregnant friends, obviously, someone who would be interested in birth photography.
Right.
Every tag is an entry, and so we'll just pick someone at random.
Okay, when do we pick?
We can pick
in a week.
In a week.
We'll
announce it next Monday.
Yeah, we'll announce it at our next Facebook Live. Yep. Okay, and I think they have to be local.
Yes.
Right.
Local.
So they have to be local to what mile radius? So Santa Clarita Valley, Antelope Valley.
Anyone who is Santa Clarita and Antelope Valley.
What about LA? San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to put some specifics in the mile radius that you'll go. Like, will you go to Ventura?
Sure.
Will you go to Long Beach?
Yeah.
Will you go to, obviously, no one's going out of state.
Right.
It does not have to be a birth with a midwife. It can be a hospital birth. It can be any kind of setting that person is choosing to birth in, obviously.
Totally. Yep.
And
we'll post all the details.
And so they have to add a comment on SCV Birth Center and a comment on your handle. And then what we'd like, I don't know, I've never done this where we'll cross-reference that we'll grab We're going to make it happen.
Totally. So I think the easiest thing is just to tell people, go to SCV Birth on Instagram later today. Look for our latest post, which will be a picture of Veronica taking pictures. And we'll have all the details in the post.
Yeah. There you go. Simple, easy peasy,
Yeah,
lemon squeezy.
that's perfect.
And do you have a time where you're going to be off call from doing births? Just curious. Like, or are you available from now until April?
At this time, I have no reason to not be on call. So nothing's coming up.
Great. And if you do go out of town, let's talk about that, because we have another lovely photographer, Sandy.
Yes.
Who also lives right across the street.
Yes, she's close by. She's a great photographer, and we've talked. And so anytime one of us, something comes up and we're not available, or let's say get sick at the last minute and we don't want to be, getting people sick at a birth, we're going to cover for each other. So that's kind of a little extra insurance.
It's like a midwife situation.
Yeah, it's really quite nice. And Sandy's across the street and had a couple of babies with us. And then we have other wonderful birth photographers in our community. And we support everybody's business, and we think it's great, and everyone does great work. It just, Sandy and Veronica teamed up.
Yeah.
I think I connected you guys when Sandy was pregnant, and she needed a photographer for her birth. And she did not have a family member that could do it, and she didn't totally trust that I could get those. Fair enough.
Focus
on
catching those babies.
You were so kind to donate your time and do those pictures for her, which was really great. And so hopefully that created some kind of relationship, and you guys can help each other. So both you guys are moms with kids, and it's tricky. So even if somebody is due that gets chosen in this contest, there's always going to be coverage.
Totally.
Right on.
Yep.
Any questions or concerns or anything you want to talk about, you guys, you could post here, share your birth photography experiences. And we'll let you know who won next week. Okay,
cool.
See y'all.
Bye.